I am here with Timika Thrasher, Executive Director of the Boys and Girls Club of Frederick County. Let's start with the reason this is very close to your heart, this organization.
For the ones that don't know, I think I talk about this often. Growing up in New York, grew up in the Bronx, and there was a Boys and Girls Club right up the street from where we lived. And my mom was a single parent, and she wasn't home all the time, and so she needed to ensure that my brother Tim and I had a place to be when she wasn't home, and then also having a place to be in the summer when we were out of school. And the club was the place that we went to. And I learned how to swim going to the Boys and Girls Club. I learned how to efficiently ride my bike, roller skating, like building those relationships and those bonds and working together as a team. So it's passionate for me because I know how the club helped me as a young person and helped my brother. And I know that our community and our kids and our families need that extra help and that extra support. And it's about collectively bringing these kids together and supporting them in any way possible. Like the kids that need us the most, and it's not specific to a certain type of kid, it's the ones that need us the most.
I think it's about childhood memories, right?
Absolutely.
So when you have a place to come that's safe and secure and you're actually learning or doing, summer's coming.
Summer kicks off Wednesday, June 12th. We have 2 locations. So we have our Madison Street location, which is housed for our elementary school kids. This year was the first year now that FCPS does all-day pre-K.
Okay.
We serve a lot of younger kids now. That in the past it was just school-age kids, but you know that has changed some. So we serve pre-K through 5th grade at Madison Street, and then here at Burke Street, 6th through 8th, rising 9th.
Very good. Now, I walked in, and I hadn't been in this room in a long time, years, in fact. It's probably been 8 years.
Okay.
It looks great in here.
Thank you.
We've done a lot of work.
Well, some of these things were already here. It was just refining what the space looked like and trying to use it that's going to be the most beneficial for the kids when they come in, and that they're going to enjoy it and it's not all crammed in.
It looks very like something that they would enjoy, which is nice, because you need to make them feel comfortable in their space, right? Or they're not going to want to come.
Yeah, exactly.
What is one thing that you feel Frederick might have a preconception about Boys and Girls Club?
I think a lot of the preconceived notions is that the Boys and Girls Club serves, you know, the poor kid. That's not what this is about. Now, I will say that in the past, how we served was really kids from a certain area because of where our proximity to, you know, where the club is.
Just,
so we have
just because of location, right?
Because of location. But my mindset is not about serving, you know, the poor kids. It's about serving all kids. My mindset is if you bring the kids together on this like equal, even playing field where there's no biases, there's no judgment. When you bring them all together, they learn from each other, right? And so it then aspires them to do bigger and better, or giving them other ideas of what life could really look like if they took the initiative and they got involved and they got engaged. And I think bringing the kids together from all different places and spaces is beneficial for all.
So this is a really great opportunity for families who may typically not consider the Boys and Girls Club, but really want to give their kids a good, diverse view of kids from Frederick.
And I would say specifically in the summer, because we have a lot of families that just need care for their kids in the summer. And so, you know, last summer was probably the first summer that we had kids from all across the county. We had families from New Market and, you know, Emmitsburg and Mount Airy and Brunswick and Walkersville. You know, we had a huge grouping of kids. They just were all together in the summer, just having fun, all the field trips.
So there's a lot of activities that happen during the summer that it's harder to do
during the school year.
During the school year. But I think that's, you know, as a parent who worked from home, even that, you know, yes, you're home, but you're working. So you don't want to leave your kids letting them sleep till noon and being on the screens the rest of the day, giving them a reason to get up in the morning, to have some activities and experiences, and then be amongst kids their age. I think that is priceless as well. So it's definitely something families should be considering. What's been the biggest challenge?
I think our biggest challenge is getting individuals, organizations, supporters to support unrestricted funds, right?
Okay.
You know, I try to remind everyone, you can give us restricted funds all day long, right? But if I don't have the funds to pay the qualified and educated staff members to be able to serve, I can't keep the doors open, right?
Yeah.
Like I need there to be funds that will cover all the things outside of programs, because you can't run programs if you don't have staff, right? Without the people. You can't keep your doors open or the lights on if you don't have those funds.
Yeah. For people who may not understand what that means, so sometimes you fundraise for specific things like getting transportation or upkeep on the building
or
and
snacks
or snacks,
or
right?
meals.
So when people give to that specific thing, you can't spend that money on anything else. Right.
Correct. Right.
So unrestricted means when you write that check, you say use this the best way you know
can.
how.
Right. The best way that's going to be beneficial for all concerned and all the kids that we serve.
You have a couple big fundraisers a year that are annual. One is coming up. That's Tour de Frederick.
Correct.
And that probably generates quite a large chunk of your budget.
Yes. A large chunk of money that is split. You know, Tour de Frederick is a very large bike ride out in the Walkersville area, and it takes them out like toward, you know, Emmitsburg, Pennsylvania. But we work with Rotary because they really carry a lot of the volunteers, and so the funds are split evenly. So our funds come back to the club, and their funds go back out to the community for grants and things like that. So that is our largest fundraiser.
Okay, and that, you know, and people need to understand too, organizations like Boys and Girls Club, amongst many other nonprofits, it's very difficult to put on large scale events for that very reason, right? Because you need 50, 60 volunteers. 100
plus.
100 plus, yeah. And so teaming up with other organizations is it's the only way sometimes to get these things done. And the great thing about Rotary is that money does come right back to Frederick, even though it might not be earmarked the extra for Boys and Girls Club. But how can Frederick help you? What is the biggest need right now? Like if you had to tell everybody, if you could do just one thing, do this.
If you could do just one thing, I would say go out to the Tour de Frederick website and support my ride. I'm selfishly saying my ride because I want to ensure that people see that as the executive director for the Boys and Girls Club, that I am also ensuring that I do my fair share to support what it is that we're doing. And if selfishly you don't want to just support me, you can support any rider that's fundraising on the site, because again, the funds get split evenly. And our goal is $280,000 to fundraise for just riders, like supporting riders, and the individual teams and riders have their own goal. I set my goal very high, as I do with life. I set a lot of things high.
You do.
I set my goal for $10,000.
Okay.
I'm not there,
okay.
but this is our 15-year anniversary.
Wow.
And so my goal was that if everyone I know, rather be social media or not, donates $15, you do the math, I could be at $10,000 in the next 30 days if everyone donated $15 or more to kind of celebrate our 15-year anniversary.
That's a great goal. I'm gonna make sure we get you to that goal, because it is fantastic, and you do have to lead by example. You have some big things coming up though.
Yes.
And it's very exciting for this Burke Street location. Tell everyone a little bit about what you're working on and what they're gonna hear more about soon.
So we are working on an amazing project with Yemi, the artist, and we are going to be doing an amazing paint by numbers mural on the backside of our Burke Street location, which is adjacent to the Scotty Bus Lane. And this is really a way to really get our community engaged and involved in volunteering. I get calls from organizations often. What can we do to volunteer? What can we do to serve? This is really going to be a way over, 4 to 6 month time frame to really beautify the outside of the building. So when people drive by, if they're not already seeing the awnings that we have out there.
Which look fabulous, by the way. They really do.
We had an amazing in-kind donation a few years ago that helped us start the process for that. but driving by and you're seeing this amazing mural and you're like, oh, what's that about? And it gets people excited, wanting to know, and maybe even stopping in to figure out what it is we do, how we do it. And so this is going to be a way for us to really think outside the box, involve our community, involve volunteers, but also raising money to really be able to serve the kids that need us the most.
Yeah. Are you at capacity right now?
So right now, our registration is open for summer.
Okay.
So we still have availability. I will tell you, a lot of our families kind of wait to the last minute. It's like, 2 weeks before school ends, and they're like, okay, what am I going to do with my kids? So then I will say that we are, I'd say maybe 50% capacity for our Burke Street location here. We want to have about 50 to 60 middle school kids. And then for our Madison Street location, we're saying like 70 to 80 kids. We have a lot of different options for parents to register. Everything's online now. You can pay with your debit card, credit card, your bank, your bank account, all that type of stuff. So the funds that we get as this project goes on, we'll just be able to go back into what we're trying to do here at the club.
Making sure that there are quality people to take care of kids. That's the biggest thing most parents, I think, would question or be, want to know.
Right. And I think one of the big things I am starting to highlight, because as I think about how the kids here at the club are being served, we do background checks, we do fingerprints, we ensure that our kids are in a safe space. I mean, nothing is perfect, right? Things happen, but we want to ensure that we are doing our due diligence to ensure that the kids and the staff that we have here at the club are in a safe environment.
You recently got a grant for some new transportation.
Yes,
that's exciting.
Very, very exciting.
And tying in Second Chances Garage, which is a nonprofit I'm on the board of, and I love that these nonprofits work together. You were able to get that done, and we're going to show pictures of that. But so you got that wrapped. That's exciting. So you utilize transportation mostly for what?
For picking up our kids, and taking on field trips, picking up from school, bringing to the club. The parents pick up in the afternoon, so we haven't really expanded outside of taking kids back home just yet. But that's something that I'm always thinking about. It's like you kind of have to think outside the box to figure out how you can ensure that all families are being served in the best way possible. And we worked with AMI Signs to get it wrapped, and we came up with a new branding and logo for our vehicle, and it looks amazing, and we can't wait to get it back out on the road. So we are super excited. So we will now go from having 3 vehicles to transport to 4.
Wow, so that's awesome.
Yeah, it makes a huge
difference. It does, because transportation, as we know, with United Way's initiatives, with Safe Ride Foundation initiatives, transportation is a huge barrier to allowing families to participate in some of these great programs that they would otherwise have access to. All right, is there anything else we haven't covered?
No, but if you are interested in supporting the Boys and Girls, rather it be you want to volunteer, you want to make a donation, please go out to our website and make a donation. If you're interested in supporting the ride for Tour de Frederick, which is our largest fundraiser, you can make a donation out there. I am grateful and thankful for the community that continue to show up every day, rather to support myself, the organization, my staff, and most importantly, the kids and the families that need us the most.
Yeah, that's the goal, right?
Yes.
The goal is making sure our future is being stewarded in a way that we would want, right? These are people who are going to be taking care of us in the not too distant future, so we want to make sure they're having the best time of their lives, which they should be doing. So.
Absolutely.
All right. I want to thank Timika Thrasher, Boys and Girls Club of Frederick County. If you haven't checked out the organization in a while, it's time you do. Support them to support our kids. Thanks so much.